Daled. ועוד יש לכל נפש אלוקיס 3 לבושים שהם מחשבה דיבור ומעשה. And there is further to each divine soul 3 garments, which are thought, speech, and action, shel taryag mitzvahs HaTorah, of the 613 mitzvahs of the Torah. So we're continuing the description of the Nefesh Elokis, the divine soul, and we described the 10 attributes in the previous Perek, in Perek Gimel, about of thought, of intellect and emotions, and the clothing on top of that. In the divine soul are the 3 garments of the mitzvos. That when a person fulfills an action of the mitzvos that we do, and in speech, a person's involved with explaining all the 613 mitzvos and their laws, and in thought he grasps everything that he can grasp in the parties, the orchard of the Torah, which are Pshat, Remez, Drush, Sod. It's an acronym for the simple, hinted, expounded, and secret meanings of the Torah. Hare Klolos Taryage Vari Nafshos. So then the 613 limbs of the body, Milubash in B'Taryag Mitzvos HaTorah, are enclothed in the 613 mitzvahs of the Torah. V'pratus B'chinas Chabad B'Nafsho. And in particular, so you have the intellect and the emotions. So the intellect is enclothed by the thought. Melubashos b'asagas haTorah. So the Chachma bin Adas, the intellect, the wisdom, understanding, and knowledge are enclothed in the grasping of the Torah. Shumar marsig bepardes kifi yocholas hasagaso, that a person grasps in the orchard of the Torah according to what they can grasp, v'shoresh nafsho l'mayla, and the source of the root of their soul above. That now the thought is explained in other places as the mishares haseichel. That the thought is a helper for the intellect. So it's a garment for the higher part of the soul that we described in the previous parak, the intellectual part. Now the emotions, which are fear and love, and their offshoots, and so to speak, children and offsprings, lubashos b'kiyum hamitzvos b'maaseh b'dibur. So they're enclothed in the fulfillment of the mitzvos in action and speech. Shu Talmud Torah, that the speech part of the mitzvos is the study of the Torah and speaking Torah. Shekaneged kulon, that's equivalent to them all. So the dibur and the maaseh are mishares, are the clothing for the lower part of the soul, the 7 emotional attributes that we described in Perek Gimel. Ki ha'ava hi shoresh kol ramach mitzvos aseh, and that is because love is the root of all the 248 positive commandments. Mimena hen nimshachos, and from it, and that's where they come from the love. Ubilada in lehem kiyum amiti, and without the love, you're not truly fulfilling them. Ki hamekayman be'emes, because someone who's truly fulfilling the mitzvos, hu ha'oves ohevis shem havaya v'chafetz ledavka bo be'emes, it's someone who loves Hashem's name and desires to cleave to Him in truth, and that's why you do them, and that's the reason for doing them. And if you're not doing it for the real reason, so it's not complete fulfillment. You can't truly cleave to Him in truth without fulfilling the 248 commandments, which are called in the Zohar HaKadosh the 248 limbs of the king, kiviyachol, so to speak. So that's how you cleave. You attach yourself to the king, so to speak, to his very body, to his very being, and that those are the mitzvahs. And as is explained in another place, And fear is the root of the 365 negative commandments. Because the reason for not doing the Averos is because you're afraid to rebel against the King of all kings, the Holy One, blessed be He. So that's the proper emotion to have for fulfilling those mitzvahs. Or you're doing it for a deeper fear, like he mentioned earlier. That you're embarrassed from His greatness, to go against what He sees, so to speak, with His eyes, the eyes of His honor. So it's not that you're afraid of rebelling, it's that you're embarrassed to do it in front of Hashem's greatness. Because you respect Hashem so much that you don't want to do bad in front of His eyes. All the bad, all the repulsive that Havaya hates, which are the klipos, the shells, and the other side. That where do the klipos, that which covers Hashem, how does it exist in this world? It's from man below in this world, and they grasp onto him, is through doing one of the 365 negative commandments. So where you don't want to do one of those things or attach yourself or give life to something bad in front of Hashem. Now these three garments from the Torah and the mitzvos, even though we're calling them garments to the levels of the soul of nefesh, ruach, and neshama, nonetheless these garments, their level, their quality is infinitely greater al mailas nefesh, ruach, v'neshama atzman, or on the over in comparison to the greatness of the nefesh, ruach, and neshama, the levels of the soul itself. So these garments are higher than the soul. So in this way, the allegory doesn't fit, because the clothing is not usually greater than the person wearing them. But in this case, they are. And that is because it's like it says in the Zohar that the Torah and the Holy One, blessed be He, are all one. What is the Torah? How do you describe what Torah is? It is the wisdom and will of the Holy One, blessed be He. So it is Hashem. So the mitzvos then in these garments are Hashem Himself. And the Holy One, blessed be He, and His honor and His being are all one. Because He is the knower and the knowledge. The Torah is Him because He is one with His knowledge, not like a person who learns knowledge and then becomes one with it, has it inside of him. But Hashem is the knowledge itself. You can't divide Hashem into parts. Like we said earlier in the name of the Rambam, so even though the Holy One, blessed be He, is infinite and His greatness has no end, and no thought can grasp Him at all, like it says in Pasach Eliyahu in the Zohar, so if you can't grasp Him, so also you can't grasp His will or His wisdom. Like it says, like that there's no end to His understanding. And it says, if you search for Hashem, will you find Him? And the Navi says that my thoughts are not your thoughts. So how can we think Hashem's thoughts in the Torah and become one with Hashem if we can't grasp Hashem and we can't grasp His wisdom? And his thoughts are not our thoughts. So in here we're saying that these garments of the thought, speech, and action are Hashem, are because Hashem is one with His wisdom. Amru. So to answer this, on this it says that our sages said that in the place where you find the greatness of the Holy One, blessed be He, so that's the same place you find His humility. So this infinite will and wisdom was confined by Hashem, by the Holy One, blessed be He, and He placed them, he squeezed them into the 613 mitzvahs of the Torah, and in their laws, and in the combinations of the letters that make up the Torah, Nevi'im, Ksuvim, and how they're expounded in the Agada and in the Medrash of our sages. So even though we couldn't grasp Him on its own, but Hashem placed His will and wisdom into something we can grasp, into the mitzvahs and into the laws, so that we can grasp them through the physical fulfillment and in the study of the laws and so forth, and the Medrash and Tanakh. And that is in order so that the levels of the soul, the neshama and ruach and nefesh, can grasp them in its knowledge, and to fulfill them, everything that we can fulfill from them, in action, speech, and thought. And through this, all the 10 attributes of the soul can be enclosed in these 3 garments. And that's the idea of a garment, because it was enclosed so low that we can have access to it. So therefore, it's a covering, and we can, so to speak, put it on and have easy access. And therefore, the Torah is compared to water. Just like water descends from a high place to a low place, like rain or waterfall and so forth, from the mountains down below. So too the Torah descended from its high place, where we couldn't grasp, which is His will and wisdom may be blessed, and the Torah and the Holy One, blessed be He, are all one, and no thought can grasp Him at all. So from that place, where we couldn't grasp, and from there traveled, and descended, into the hiding of the levels, from level to level, in the gradative process of the descent of the worlds, this chain link like process of creation, where one world is below the other, attached from level to level, to the point where these were enclosed, this will and wisdom of Hashem was enclosed b'dvarim gashmim, in physical things, v'inyanei olam hazeh, and matters of this world, shehin rov mitzvos haTorah, which are the majority of the mitzvos of the Torah, gekulam, as if there was all of them enclosed in the physical. And their laws, and with the combinations of letters, physical letters with ink on the book, the 24 books in the Torah, the prophets, and the writings, and that the purpose of that descent is in order that all thoughts should be able to grasp them, and not just thought, but the lower garments of thought, of speech and action, should be that are below the level of thought should be able to grasp them, and the soul should be enclosed in them. And so once the Torah and the mitzvos are clothing for the 10 attributes of the nefesh, of the soul, of the divine soul, and all of its limbs, 613 limbs, so from head to toe, from head to foot, so it's all bundled up in the bundle of life, Savaya Mamash, truly in Hashem. So we're so to speak in the bundle because it's enclosed. We are enclosed in it, and we're so to speak inside Hashem. And the light of Havaya, the light of Hashem, truly encompasses us and encloses us from head to foot, like it says, my guardian, my rock, I will be protected within him. I will trust in him and be protected in him. And it's written, like a shield, Hashem's will surround you. So a magen is a shield that just is like a small circle or whatever in front of you. Artzina is a shield with 3 sides that you use to protect you from all sides, like from arrows and so forth. So it's a more of a concept of an encompassing concept, not like a regular shield. So it surrounds you. So Hashem's will then surrounds you, which is His will and wisdom may be blessed, which are enclosed in His Torah and His mitzvot. And therefore, our sages said, that it's greater one moment in tshuva and good deeds in this world than all the life in the world to come. Because the world to come, where the souls are not enclosed in bodies, that's where you have a pleasure from the radiance of the Shekhinah. The point is that it's a ziv, it's a radiance, and not the Shekhinah itself. Which is a pleasure in the grasping of it. And it's impossible for any created entity, even from the higher entities, to grasp anything more than a glimmer from the light of Hashem. Therefore it's called only a radiance, a ray of the divine presence. But the Holy One, blessed be He, and in His honor and His essence, there's no thought that can grasp Him at all. Only as He's grasped within and enclosed within the Torah and the mitzvos, and its mitzvos, then He's grasped within them, or like it says on the bottom, B'ksav Yad Leisativas Bahen, that in the handwritten it doesn't say in them, so he's just grasped, not within them, but still grasped, or maybe like it's printed Bahen, that He's in grasp within them, within the Torah mitzvos, but He's grasped nonetheless. Either way, in the Torah mitzvos, or through the Torah mitzvos. Mislabesh is Ba'akadosh Baruch Hu Mamosh, and the enclosed, a person is enclosed within the Holy One, blessed be truly, and that is again because the Torah and the Holy One, blessed be He, are all one thing. And even though the Torah is enclosed in lowly physical things, so So it's compared to a person hugging the king. For example, allegorically, that you can't make any distinction between the closeness and grasping onto the king, whether he's wearing only one garment, or whether the king is wearing a number of garments. Since the body of the king is inside those garments, since you're holding onto the king who's in the garments, therefore you have the king himself. Like we said, that this is a dveikus, this is like the Zohar says, that these are the evarim de malka, the limbs of the king. So the mitzvahs are in levushim, they're in garments. But it's the actual limbs of the king that are in the garments. So it doesn't matter if you can't tell that the king is in them, if they're covered over so much, because the king is still there, inside. Or if the king holds you, whether or not the king's arm is enclosed within a garment. Like it says, that his right hand holds me, encompasses me. Shia Torah, so that's the Torah. So the if us holding the king, that's like the mitzvahs, that we actively do it. But the king holding us, surrounding us, that's more of like the king holding us, not us holding the king. Shia Torah shnitna miyamin, and that's because the Torah was given from the right hand. She bechinas chesed u'mayim, which is a concept of kindness and water, like we said, that it's a concept of water that comes from on high, Hashem's wisdom. And we're going to explain this idea of how the Torah is more a concept of surrounding us in the next parak, in Parak Hey, where in comparison the mitzvos, even though they're also garments that surround us, but in comparison the mitzvos are more like us holding the king.